Could a Supreme Court decision destabilize America's entire tariff strategy and force the White House to fight for economic survival? Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reveals how global trade, rare earths, and evolving chip technology could redefine America's economic power in the next 12 months.
How it would work if you had to, start reversing some of the what we've seen with the tariffs.
Yeah, Joe, there are lots of other authorities that can be used, but IEEPA is by far the cleanest, and it gives the U.S. and the president the most negotiating authority. And again, when we get something like October 8th, where the entire manufacturing ecosystem in the U.S. and the world was at threat of shutdown, then it's very important to be able to have these. The others are more cumbersome, but they can be effective, less. It hinders the president's negotiating ability to be able to protect the American people and the American economy. So, this is very important tomorrow, and SCOTUS is going to hear this. And again, this is a signature policy for the president, and traditionally SCOTUS has been loath to interfere with these signature policies.
I guess I'll just ask you one quick question on China. A lot of talk about what actually went on with NVIDIA chips and the Blackwell chips. Are you among the people in the administration that think that China should never get those highly advanced AI chips? Or is this saving something to negotiate the future with? Because it always seems like these are stops along the way with these negotiations with China. They're evolving, and we continue to deal with things, and they continue to deal with things.
Well, if we think about the Blackwell now, that they're the crown jewel. That 12, 18 months ago, the H20s were so good, were the crown jewels. So, Joe, I think what you're describing is actually the pace that the technology is moving, not the pace that the negotiations are moving. So there may be a case down the road. I don't know whether it's 12 or 24 months, given the incredible innovation that goes on at NVIDIA, where the Blackwell chips may be 2, 3, 4 down their chip stack in terms of efficacy. And at that point, they could be sold on.
And it's your take, your contention that China had a plan with these rare earth materials, that this was in the works. And whether President Trump had poked the bear in the first place to try to reset global trade with China, either way, that would have been something that China was planning to use. So it's not like, the president, critics say, starts fire and then puts a fire out and takes credit for putting it out.
Absolutely not. This is something that they've been putting together for 35 years. The rare earth magnets company actually used to belong to General Motors. A Chinese company bought it. CFIUS, which is the Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., said they had to keep it in the U.S. for 5 years and a day. In 2000, they moved it over to China. They've been accumulating these rare earth assets for years. And, Joe, it's important to know that they put this restriction on the entire world. So, don't accuse President Trump of doing this. But what I can tell you is after the meeting in Korea, it was a very good meeting. Both sides approached it with great respect. I think President Trump is the only leader who President Xi respects. We had a very good meeting. The relationship is in a good place. I think we're going to have 2 state visits next year. President Trump will be going to Beijing, and Xi will be coming to the U.S., and they may also see each other at the G20 in Doral and then the APEC conference in Shenzhen in November. So I think the overall U.S.-China relationship is on a much more even keel now.